The games I choose to cover are basically just random games I have on my shelf, if you ever wonder why I choose the games I do. That's worth saying, as today's game is a Famicom title based on a manga, featuring a time-traveling cat robot who aids a small boy in overcoming school bullies and other day-to-day struggles of growing up. Doraemon is actually one of the best-selling manga ever, especially for children, and dates all the way back to the late 60s with an animated series of films releasing in the early 70s. There are 45 different volumes of the long-standing series that has been adapted to video games a handful of times. Not including today's game, simply titled Doraemon, there's also Doraemon Giga Zombie no Gyakushu on the Famicom, as well as several Game Boy and Super Nintendo titles to follow. Let's see what's up with Doraemon on the Famicom.
Konnichiwa. Boku Doraemon no bouken ga game ni narimashita. Kuki hou ni dokodemo doa. Hirari manto ni toriyose bank. Onajimi no himitsu doumu o tsukatte dai bouken no hajimari desu. Doraemon 12月12日新発売
by Addison.
I want to point out that while I am using an English translation patch for this footage, it is not required to play this game if you do not read Japanese. Broken down, Doraemon is 3 different games, each level a different genre. In the first level, you're in a top-down, Zelda-like open world, though it's nowhere near as good or interesting as Zelda. But there is an overworld city where you can pretty much go anywhere you want, and you can also venture down into the underground when you come across a manhole. One big aspect to getting through the game are finding the secrets, and the only way to find those is, kinda like Milon's Secret Castle, to shoot everything. And not just everything, but everywhere. To advance, you'll need to find a few hidden doors sprinkled around the city. So, if one of your shots abruptly stops in midair, you likely made contact with a secret, so keep shooting it until a door appears. As you make your way around the city, you'll notice that the perspective is what keeps you blocked in some of the time, which is kinda weird. You can't go behind that building even though you should be able to. You have to walk around the top of it. There are enemies all around, and they all respawn if you get too far away, so it's not necessary to waste your time on them unless they're in your way. They can drop items like health and even things like clocks to make them freeze for a minute so you can take them out. Eventually, you'll enter a portal into another section that is much more difficult. It becomes almost a bullet hell type of shooter, but just keep trudging onward, shooting everything and everywhere. If you manage to make it through that level, the next one is an outright flying shmup level. The neat thing about this one is that Doraemon will shift directions at certain points, and the game will flip between being a horizontal shooter to a vertical one, and back again. Jury is still out on if this is annoying or not. I thought it was kind of neat, honestly. This section is tough though, as NES-era shooters can be, and especially ones like this that aren't particularly well made. You can venture off on branching paths, however, and rescue some friends who can help you along the way, although the constant rotation of your party as you navigate the windy and twisting tunnels of the stages and dodging all of the projectiles hurled at you is confusing and discombobulating. The only one you really need to worry about is Doraemon, although your partners can be killed. The flying section is excruciatingly long, with a few mini-bosses sprinkled in along your way. After that, you enter an underwater section where the concept is still shoot-'em-up-like, but instead of auto-scrolling, you get to float around underwater one screen at a time. The enemies here are plentiful, but much easier to kill than in the other levels. The point of this is to rescue 3 kids that are hidden in random chests. Some chests will have kids, some won't. Kids in underwater chest is a no bueno scenario, so please hurry and do your best to save them. You'll need keys to open the chest, and the game offers next to no direction in telling you what to do here, or ever. Some chests require you to fight a deadly octopus to reach them, and that's where the difficulty of this level really ramps up. The octopi. The octopuses? The octopussin? Well, they really put up a fight. Doraemon has its moments, certainly, and it's easily playable without a language patch or anything, but it can be difficult. Thankfully, once you realize what you're supposed to do in each level, you spend less time wandering around and dying. and you can go for what you need to go for. For example, knowing that you can venture off the beaten path in the shooter level to find the kids to help you is a big game changer because they really do make the game easier. But the places you have to go to get them look like they'd kill you, so you might not have even known to try. So yeah, the biggest hurdle is figuring out exactly what is going on here and why, especially since each level is a different game almost. It's a tough one to recommend unless you just really like Doraemon. I'll get around to the other Doraemon game on the Famicom someday. It's an RPG that requires an English translation for me to make sense out of. And it's worth noting you don't need to play this one first to enjoy that one. Anyway, never put kids in chests and leave them underwater. And thanks for watching.